सुकून से क्या मतलब, वहशी को सुकून से क्या मतलब। जोगी का नगर में ठिकाना क्या, इन जाजिरों अब पूछ करो, इस शहर में जी को लगाना क्या, इन जाजिरों। इस दिल के दरेदा दामन में देखो तो सही, सोचो तो सही। इस दिल के दरेदा दामन में देखो तो सही, सोचो तो सही। जिस झोली में सो छेद हुए, जिस झोली में सो छेद हुए, उस झोली का फैलाना क्या, इन जाजी उठो अब कुछ करो, इस शहर में जी को लगाना क्या, इन जाजी उठो। जब बीती चांद भी डूब चला, जब बीती चांद भी डूब चला, जंजीर पड़े दरवाजे पे, क्यों देर गए घर आए हो, क्यों देर गए घर आए हो, सजनी से करोगे बहाना क्या, इन ताजी उठो अब कुछ करो, इस शहर में जी को लगाना क्या, इन ताजी उठो अब कुछ करो, इस शहर में जी को लगाना क्या, इन ताजी उठो अब कुछ करो, इस शहर में जी को लगाना क्या। की जाना मैं कौन, की जाना मैं कौन, की जाना मैं कौन। ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਮਸਤ ਖਰਾਬਾ ਨਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਗਾ ਨਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੋ
Hi, I'm Iris here with the AV Club in the studio with Zeshan B, who just did a session with us. Thanks for being here, Zeshan.
Thank you for having me, Iris.
So just have a few questions about the songs that you've played today. Are they all from the new album, Vetted?
Two of them are. One that we started with in Shaji, that's a new joint. So that I'm already kind of tired of this album and I'm starting to write music for a new one. So, but yeah, it's nice to be able to have the opportunity to put it out, and thank you guys for giving me that.
That's great. So what are you most excited about with the new album that you're working on?
I'm just excited to, I think try different things. I'm always, I feel like musically I'm a pretty open-minded kind of guy. Not as far as, my standards for musicality, I'm pretty rigid about that and closed-minded. But when it comes to material and trying different things out, different effects, different whatever, stuff in the studio, just messing around, I'm excited to do that. And I'm excited to just do a lot of my own stuff. Last album was sort of my interpretation of many beautiful songs in like a Forgotten Soul catalog. And this next album, I think will have a lot more in the way of originals and collaborations with other songwriters.
Great. Can you tell me how your, like, for example, your father's academic studies and just your upbringing in general inform your musical style?
Whew, that's a long story. Well, I guess, yeah, it does, I suppose, start with my dad. My dad, as you might be able to infer, I'm the child of immigrants. So, and my dad, when he was a student in India, he was a journalist, and he covered literary expression in America as well as music, and he was an essayist for the Times of India, which was based in Mumbai. And he just was really into, American stuff. He was writing about what was going on in the late 60s with the civil rights movement and the early 70s. He was writing about literature, he was writing about music. He dug it all, And when he came to America, he sort of brought that appreciation of that stuff with him, and both him and my mom did. But, I think that a common narrative amongst immigrant, like, especially when you're like a first generation kid, like, you know what I'm talking about. And
Yep.
and so it's like, Iris knows what's up. I think a common narrative, in the whole immigrant experience is one of nostalgia, And I think with my mom and dad, it was very much that. They left, especially my father left 11 siblings behind in India. And they left an entire ecosystem behind. And so anything that reminded them of that, would make their eyes moist. And, in the case of music, it was the music, the film music and some of the folk music and the classical music idioms of India and Pakistan that they brought along with them. And then I grew up listening to that Indian stuff, that Pakistani stuff, as well as Al Green or Curtis Mayfield or Marvin Gaye, and so I guess here we are,
With all of that, what is the message that you hope people will get out of your music?
I think if there's anything I'd love for people to get out of my music is that people empathize with one another, I feel like apathy has become sort of a thing here in America, at least in what I've seen in my surroundings. I feel like there's a lot of apathy, and and I think that that's due to like a spiritual blackout. That's a whole different story. But I think that if anything, these songs, they make me feel empathetic towards the plight of someone else. And I think when you're empathetic to people, they're empathetic to you. It goes both ways. Just listen to folks, man. Just, hear what they got to say. Empathize with people's pain,
Do you feel like soul music is a particularly good vehicle for social change, getting messages out there?
Absolutely. And I think part of that is because soul music doesn't really leave much up for interpretation. Like, I feel like there's other genres of music where you can interpret something one way or the other, but soul music is just your guts are laid out on the table, your heart's laid out on the table. Or in my case, I leave it all on stage, where you give it your all, and your deepest emotions, your deepest convictions, your deepest pain is channeled through the music. So I think soul music is perhaps the best, if I may say, prisms in which, social, political, or just, emotional, whatever it is. All those things can be channeled through soul music because it's just right out there, and it's from here. It's from the heart and the soul. And if it's not from there, then it's not soul music,
Definitely. This is my last question, and this is kind of an AV Club standard, but seems particularly relevant with the content of your music. Do you have any advice for people on how to get through the next 4 years?
Opiates. No. Follow what's going on. Don't lose, your sense of your idealism. Because the minute that stuff is lost, then apathy comes in. See, so don't lose that. Don't lose your sense of purpose. I think it's really easy to do that. It's really easy to just read the news and just be like, Jesus, what next? And it's very easy to become disillusioned, especially the older you get. But I think you maintain a sense of, well, I'm here for a purpose. I'm here for a purpose that's perhaps higher than myself. And someone else's pain is my pain. I think that's the mentality that one ought to have to get through these next 4 years. They're going to be pretty difficult.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you, Iris. Thank you.